Do you want to learn how to properly use the grid? Just stay in this video and I'll teach you how. Welcome to the Making and Breaking the Grid series. This is gonna be a series of videos to teach you how to make a grid, how to apply it in your everyday design, and how sometimes you can break it. But that will be at the end after you learn how to actually make a proper grid. This is gonna be a guide of how to use the grid properly and how to apply this knowledge that I'm bringing to you every day in your designs and how to boost your design skills exponentially while you're using these new techniques that I'm gonna show you right now. Let's start with some famous quotes of really great graphic designers. The first one would be from Joseph Miller-Brockman. He says, I'm quoting him, "The grid system is an aid, not a guarantee. It permits a number of possible uses and each designer look for a solution that is appropriate to his or her personal style." And he actually says this too. He says, "But one must learn how to use the grid. It is an art that requires practice." The more you practice how to actually apply the grid, different combinations you use while you're trying to make your designs, the better results you're gonna get, because the more practice you put into this, the better graphic designer you're gonna be. Let's read this quote from Massimo Vignelli. He says that the grid is like a lion in a cage, and the designer, it's the lion tamer. It's useful to play with the lion, but the designer has to know when to get out before the lion eats him. Important to say. Really interesting quote from Massimo Vignelli, and if you try to analyze what he's trying to say, I believe is the fact that you gotta know when to stop editing a design. And this is really hard because sometimes as designers, we try to achieve perfection and that's impossible to do, and we gotta understand how to stop tweaking designs. Sometimes you have that feeling that sometimes you're just tweaking a design way too much and you actually ended up just going back to the previous state. So just try to keep that in mind. Massimo Vignelli, he gives that awesome quote. Let's read this awesome quote from Catherine McCoy too. "Graphic design that tries to make things simple is not doing anybody a real benefit. Society needs to understand how to deal with subtlety, complexity, and contradiction in contemporary life. It's possible and necessary to have both complexity and intelligibility in graphic design." Awesome quote from Catherine McCoy. And I know what you're thinking, okay Leo, I'm just a new graphic designer. Why should I care and why should I use the grid? And I will tell you in the simplest way possible. And if you have any question about the grid, please add it in the comments below and I'll try to help you to clarify any sort of questions that you have about the grid. I'll be here just to help you out with all of that. Using the grid permits a designer to more rapidly lay out enormous amount of information because many design considerations are addressed in the building of the grid structure. At the outset of a project, a grid also allows many individuals to collaborate in the same project or related projects without compromising established visual qualities from one instance to the next. The benefits of working with the grid are simple: clarity, efficiency, and continuity. To some designers, the grid is an inherent part of the craft of designing. I'll put this example of myself. I try to use the grid as much as possible in most of the designs that I do because I feel like it helps me to design way faster. To some graphic designers, the grid is an inherent part of the craft of designing, as joinery is in the craft of furniture making. Its assimilation into practice has been a part of an evolution in how graphic designers think about designing, as well as a response to a specific communication and production issues needing to be addressed at the various times through the discipline's history. As it says, you need to use the grid to lay out your elements in a faster way, and it will let you align things together in a proper manner, and your designs are gonna look way better. You're gonna out-design most of the people if they're not using the grid. I guarantee you that you're gonna design way better than them. If you feel like your design skills are not getting good enough, it's because your mind not using the grid the proper way. Let's continue. Okay, one of the things that I want to teach you today is the square and circle structure diagram. And before we jump into all the design part, I'm going to try to teach you tips that you can use every day. So the square and circle structure diagram is going to be something that is going to change your designs for good, and it's going to help you to understand how to lay out elements. Let's talk about history first. Logics had evolved a systematic approach to teaching composition based on the dissection of a circle by a square, creating a grid of proportional spaces. Bearings, I'm talking about thought, Peter Behrens, saw that this system could be used to unify proportion within architecture and graphic design. In 1906, he applied this theory into his exhibition in Pavilion and poster for Anchor Linoleum Company, which is this poster that I have right here. So he used this technique that I'm gonna teach you right now. I'm right now in the Illustrator and I'm gonna try to teach you how to make this circle real quickly. I'm gonna take the ellipse tool, I'm gonna make a circle, okay? I'm gonna try to make a circle right here from the corner. I'm gonna try to pressing shift to align the circle with the square. Just trying to make it as simple as possible. So you're gonna create a circle inside the square and I'm gonna take this square, I'm gonna go to edit, copy, and then edit, paste in front. And I'm gonna take this square, I'm gonna press option and I'm gonna reduce the square to the size of the circle. Perfect. I'm gonna take this circle and I'm gonna go back to edit, copy, and then I'm gonna go to edit, paste in front. I'm gonna take this circle, pressing alt and shift, and I'm gonna option and shift. I'm gonna reduce it to the size of the square. I'm gonna select the square again. I'm gonna go to edit, copy, and then edit, paste in front. I'm gonna take the square, I'm gonna put it on top. Okay, and now that I have this square inside of the circle, I'm gonna take the line tool, which is this line segment tool. I'm gonna make a line to divide them, and I'm gonna make a line around the middle in the intersection. As you can see now, that's how you create this circle that is extremely useful in the design. But I teach you how to make the circle now, but let's go back to the presentation. Okay, now that you know how to use the square and circle structure diagram, I'm gonna teach you how to apply it in your everyday design. But before, let's talk about history first, before I teach you how to apply this in your everyday life. In 1907, Behrens received a landmark design commission for the German Electrical Works, AEG, to the company's artistic advisor. At the same time, he participated in the launching of the Deutsche Werkbund, or German Association of Craftsmen, inspired by Morris but embracing rather than rebelling against the machine. The Werkbund sought to invent an universal culture through the design of everyday objects and furnishings. Behrens' industrial design projects through the Werkbund coincide with his association with the AEG, in addition to the AEG tickless and lighting fixtures. He also designed their visual identity. What he's trying to say that he designed this identity right here, and this identity is also applying this diagram that I'm showing right here. I use Dimension CC to make these scans. If you have any questions, I will try to make a tutorial of how to make products in Dimension CC. But I make a simple product just to show how to apply the grid in your everyday design. So imagine that you're working in a website. This is how you would lay out the elements for the website, and this is how it would look if you're working in an app or any type of UI interface design. You can still apply the knowledge that in 1907 Behrens just did with this identity design. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you read about design, if you're trying to learn about design, and that's why this channel is here, is to help you become a better graphic designer, just teaching you the basics and more. I'm gonna try to make you the best graphic designer you can be, and that starts by you just being curious, and just by the fact that you're watching this video right now, it says a lot about you. It says that you care and you want to be a better graphic designer, and that's really important. When you're working in your designs, I'm gonna put this presentation right in the description of this video, so you can just go through the presentation. If you want to read it again, you can read it again. And it's really important that you just practice this in your everyday design. At some point you're gonna feel like you're getting better, and it's just by the fact that you're just studying more, you're just learning new things, and you're trying to apply them every day, and that's what's gonna make you a better graphic designer. These tips are really useful, and I'm just trying to share them with you completely for free, just for the sake of making you a better graphic designer. And I know after you learn this, I'm gonna make a part 2 and then a part 3 or 4. Again, this is the first of many series of the grid. I'm gonna make a complete section of the grid from the beginning to an end, so stay tuned for more videos. And that's it. I hope you had a wonderful time learning how to properly use the grid. If you like this video and you find this content helpful, please subscribe. And if you have any questions about the grid, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to help you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.